You're not lazy. You're living the wrong life. If you think you're lazy, you've already misunderstood the problem. Lazy people don't feel guilty. You feel guilty because you're forcing yourself to live a life that isn't yours. This is where most men get stuck. They think the problem is effort, so they push harder. But effort isn't the issue. Direction is. And until we talk about what you're actually building your life around, nothing else will change. You wake up tired, not because you didn't sleep enough, because the day ahead serves no part of you that actually matters. You check your phone. Someone else's priorities flood in before you've even remembered your own. By 9 in the morning, you're already behind on a race you never agreed to run. The exhaustion isn't physical, it's spiritual. Your body knows when it's being used for the wrong purpose. Every task that doesn't align with who you actually are drains you, not because it's hard, because it's hollow. You've been told this is normal, that work is supposed to feel like work, that discipline means doing things you don't want to do. But that's not discipline, that's compliance. Discipline is the ability to stay aligned with your own values when everything around you pulls you away. What you're experiencing isn't a lack of discipline, it's a crisis of direction. Most men spend decades optimizing the wrong life. They get better at tasks they don't care about. They build skills for careers they never wanted. They maintain relationships that exhaust them, and they call this growth. But growth without direction is just motion, and motion without meaning is just noise. You've tried the solutions, morning routines, productivity systems, better habits. They work for a while, then they collapse. Not because you're weak, because you're trying to make yourself more efficient at living someone else's blueprint. The problem isn't that you need more structure, it's that the structure you have is built on a foundation you never examined. Someone told you what success looks like. Someone handed you a template, and you've been trying to fit yourself into it ever since. This is why everything feels heavy. You're carrying a vision that isn't yours, dragging goals across the finish line that you never actually wanted to reach. And your body resists because, at some level, it knows. There's a difference between hard work and misaligned work. Hard work is exhausting but clarifying. Misaligned work is exhausting and confusing. One makes you tired but whole. The other makes you tired and fragmented. You know the difference. You've felt it. There are tasks you do that drain you completely, and tasks that energize you even when they're difficult. The difference isn't the effort, it's the alignment. When what you're doing matches who you are, effort becomes flow. When it doesn't, effort becomes suffering. Most men never ask the question that matters. They ask, how do I get better at this? They should be asking, should I be doing this at all? Because the life you're living might not be lazy. It might just be wrong. And no amount of optimization will fix that. You can't discipline your way out of misalignment. You can only burn out trying.
The monks understood this. They didn't build discipline by forcing themselves to do things they hated. They built discipline by removing everything that didn't serve their path. Subtraction, not addition. Clarity, not complexity. When you strip away everything that isn't yours, what remains has space to grow. But most men never subtract. They just keep adding. More goals, more obligations, more noise. And they wonder why they can't move. You're not carrying too little. You're carrying too much, and most of it isn't even yours. Think about your last week. How many hours did you spend on tasks you genuinely cared about? Not tasks you thought you should care about, tasks that felt true to who you are. If the number is low, you don't have a laziness problem, you have an allocation problem. You're spending your life on things that don't feed you, and you're calling it responsibility. Responsibility is important, but responsibility to the wrong things is just servitude. There's a version of you that moves without hesitation, that acts without endless internal debate, that works hard and doesn't collapse. You've seen glimpses of it in moments when you were doing something that actually mattered to you. When the task aligned with who you are, you didn't need motivation.
You just moved. That's not a special state. That's what happens when direction is clear. The problem is that most of your life doesn't give you that clarity. So you operate in a fog, half committed to everything, fully committed to nothing, and you wonder why you feel so tired. Energy isn't created by working less, it's revealed by working on the right things. Misalignment shows up in patterns. You procrastinate on tasks that should be simple. You feel dread on Sunday night. You scroll when you should be working. You need external pressure to move. You feel relief when plans get canceled. These aren't signs of laziness. They're signals that you're forcing yourself through a life that doesn't fit. Your mind is resisting, not because it's weak, because it's trying to protect you from wasting your energy on the wrong path. Most men ignore these signals. They push harder. They feel guilty. They call themselves undisciplined, and they keep grinding through a life that doesn't serve them. But guilt doesn't fix misalignment. It just makes you feel worse about being in the wrong place. The fix isn't more willpower, it's more honesty. You need to ask yourself questions you've been avoiding. What do I actually want? Not what I'm supposed to want, not what would make sense. What do I actually want? Most men can't answer this because they've spent so long optimizing for external validation that they've lost track of their own preferences. They don't know what they want. They only know what they think they should want. And that's the trap. You can't build a life around shoulds because shoulds don't generate energy. They generate compliance. And compliance always collapses eventually.
The life you're supposed to live and the life you're built to live are not the same thing. One is a performance, the other is a path. You've been performing, and it's killing you slowly. The way out isn't complicated, but it's uncomfortable. You have to start removing. Remove the goals that aren't yours. Remove the relationships that drain you. Remove the projects you're only doing for approval. Remove the version of yourself you're trying to maintain for other people. This feels dangerous because you've built an identity around these things. You've told people this is who you are. You've invested time, money, energy, and now you're supposed to just walk away? Yes, if it's not yours, it has to go. Musashi traveled with almost nothing, not because he was poor, because he understood that everything you carry slows you down. Every obligation, every possession, every identity you're clinging to, all of it is weight, and you're exhausted because you're carrying too much. When you remove what doesn't serve you, what remains becomes clear. You're not trying to do everything. You're doing the one thing that actually matters to you. And when you do that, effort stops feeling like suffering. It feels like movement. This doesn't mean life gets easier. It means life gets clearer, and clarity creates energy. You'll know you're on the right path when work stops feeling like resistance, when you stop needing motivation to begin, when the task itself pulls you forward instead of you having to push yourself through it. That's alignment. Most men never experience this because they never build a life around their actual nature. They build a life around expectations, and expectations always require force. You don't need to force the right life. You just need to stop forcing the wrong one. The question isn't, how do I become more disciplined? The question is, what am I disciplining myself toward? Because if the answer is someone else's definition of success, you're going to fail. Not because you're weak, because you're fighting against yourself. Your mind, your body, your instincts, they all know when you're living the wrong life. They resist, not to sabotage you, to redirect you. The resistance you feel isn't the enemy, it's information. And until you listen to it, you'll keep blaming yourself for being lazy. But you're not lazy. You're just living a life that requires you to betray yourself daily. And no amount of discipline can make that sustainable. So stop trying to fix your discipline. Start examining your direction. Because the problem was never effort. It was always alignment. And once you align with what's actually yours, the effort takes care of itself. You don't need to be pushed. You just move. Not because you're motivated,
because you're finally on the right path. That's not laziness, that's clarity, and clarity is the only thing that ever mattered.